Time for mind test. Yep. 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in a confectionery contest. Why did they work together? And what did they enter the contest? Why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I needed to get out of my opponent somehow. Oh. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. By my hand, now the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. Mindcast, commence! Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost?
We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He wasn't interested in entering a contest, so we decided to sign up together.
And your decision to pair up with the sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills.
You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most of perfect creations possible. That's all.
So you wait for him to be asleep before I press.
Frostson and mine were in the same grade at school. Got along pretty well, too.
Oh. So you were just friends who happened to try for the title of world's greatest confectioner. Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning the title of confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive in taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say?
Fine, it was me. I wanted that title. Frost only was in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook.
I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps? If so, I want to know why.
Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Pushed me too hard. And I'll be on my way back to the medical room.
No, wait.
You better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience.
Mr. Gusto is trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. As long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. There is no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. You two had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of world's greatest confectioner even counts for that much.
Now you're insulting the way of a confectioner. My only goal, was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Look, my sense of design might not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now.
Oh, so you've improved.
You bet I have. I didn't do all that training and think far for nothing. I looked up to Tangaroa. You know, spent hours poring over the designs of his work. He used to watch his show with my son.
Sounds to me like Mr. Tangaroa's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with this recipe book, you might even become the best somehow.
Maybe. The book was a real treasure. No doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it.
You claim that your only goal was to win the title. Yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook.
The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner.
Does he not know? Sir, it's not a confectionery cookbook. It's not a confectionery cookbook, bro.
Can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that?
Nothing, I suppose. Although that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. Feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip from my grasp now. Just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tangaroa's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it.
So your plan was to win the cookbook in order to use it to help with your own creations.
What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold.
Could have made a lot of money if you sold it.
I don't know much about what was actually in there. But it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that.
Really now? Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the ultimate cookbook than you claim.
They told us a little about it at the start of the contest.
Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And they weren't dessert recipes at all.
I see you did your homework. Fine, so you know what really is in there. The ultimate cookbook, or the angel's cookbook, to give you the proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody has ever heard of.
So we did know that the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? Collection of Tangaroa's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner's world who wouldn't want it hands on.
Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zinc 5, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the ultimate cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. His son is sick, isn't he? You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You have no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which says that your interest must have been personal.
I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't my only reason I entered the contest. Neither one of the recipes in the book. Just for my son. He was sick.
He was. Tell me more.
That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know.
He looks rattled, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what his mystery illness was. If they bring out Incuratus, I am going to be so mad. Please don't let it be Incuratus. Let it be something else. Any random thing they want to come up with. Not Incuratus. Let's not go back to that thing. Almost gotten to the bottom of this. I can feel it. There's a few more moves. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from?
You're a real customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he's seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell him more?
Tell me a little more about your son.
He was my pride and joy, and my biggest fan.
You entered a contest in order to help him.
You clearly don't have a child of your own. Any father would have done the same. Would have done anything to help him. Anything. He would have come to see me at the contest venue too, right up through the semifinals.
Really? You didn't get in the way of your work. You were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa. Surely you didn't have time to look after a child.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be first to try my creations.
You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest.
It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening anyway.
It feels like it could be an important clue. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details?
It may not have been life-threatening, but it doesn't mean it hasn't been life-altering.
I see. Must have been very hard on both of you.
Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could do to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything. Not even his favorite desserts.
Ooh. So similar to what Tangaroa had. As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains a recipe for a particular medication. One that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder.
So he had it too.
Two, you say? So your son had a taste disorder then, am I correct?
How did I let that slip?
You've been asking me to believe you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case?
Of course it was. What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm not sure based on everything you've told me. Okay, so I need to go... I need to go to this one. You need a cookbook to cure your son.
Nowadays, you can't get the medication he needs anywhere. But back then, the cookbook was our only hope. That's why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give my all to my work.
What about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to steal a glance at it.
What makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what others had made?
I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you that were determined to win the Ultimate Cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up the chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries.
I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor.
So you have it too.
Must have been nerves or something.
Let's show a basic. Time to deploy my clue. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. As you should know, after all, you just told me you experienced something like that during the contest. You said nothing that you said nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder as well. So, Tangaroa, him, and his son all had the same taste disorder? What the heck? How many more people are going to have this taste disorder? The confectioner was at a sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking to cure, Mr. Gusto?
I've had enough of your speculation. Managed just finding a contest. All of my own entries. No problem.
Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim that you did it all on your own. You would have us believe that you were a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectionery art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. Also, could you cure your own taste disorder?
You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. Kept it hidden for so long. 18 years and nobody knew.
So that's why his son was there to be the taste tester. But the finals came and he didn't come. Why? Sadly, you cannot lie to others. Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook. For the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring to Mr. Frost. And thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate.
My class. Checkmate. I'll admit it. You're good. Never told anybody of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed a guesa.
A guesa? A guesa? However the heck you want to say that?
It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. Confection is the worst nightmare.
Mr. Fender, is that what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? No. Big man had what they call dissociative taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others he had no flavor at all.
So he suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market.
Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit that that's what the real reason you entered the contest?
It was the only one of the reasons I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done. And I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but it still was good stuff, good enough to win.
Oh, so you went into the finals thinking you stood a good chance of winning?
Of course.
What was it that Fender said about Mr. Tangaroa's thoughts on Mr. Gusto's creations? At least up through the semi-finals. His entry for the final was subpar on both counts. We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you described. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day?
Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk. But you're not going to like what I have to say. Frost and I were working together right up through the semifinals. I handled the flavor. He did the designing. But I wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. No help. Just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lack training.
I don't know, bro.
That is all there is to it. Happy now?
There don't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony. Yep. Not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Mazzarino? See if you can shake something loose. I think I might just have to, Fender. Yeah, obviously we're gonna press him.
Hold it!
You were serious about winning a title then?
Of course. The confectionery is my life. Why wouldn't I have wanted the crown of the greatest? But I still had a lot to learn back then. Guess it's no surprise that my work wasn't up to scratch.
But the title wasn't the only thing you wanted. There was a cookbook too. And you wanted the book even more than you wanted the title. Isn't that right, Mr. Gusto?
Overruled.
Mr. Edgeworth, you are badgering a witness who is still suffering from the effects of today's attack. I cannot allow this harassment to continue. I understand, Your Honor, but...
Ignore him, Mr.
Ignore him, Mr. Gusto. You need not answer that vile prosecutor's question. But please do continue your testimony in your own time.
Hold it!
So you're saying Mr. Frost didn't help you at all? But he'd help you up until then, correct? It's a bit strange for him to stop so late in the contest, no?
Strange or not, it's the truth. Could it be he had his reasons too? I wouldn't know.
He's lying. It's gonna be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Unless that gizmo of yours has a built-in lie detector, Kay. If it did, I have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now. Don't worry, Fender. I can tell when he's lying. No doohickey assistance required. Please, Mr. Gusto, continue your testimony.
Hold it!
And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavor. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on the day?
Nothing like that. It was, I told you, I had a taste disorder.
No, sorry, bro. Mr. Frost's entry was complimented for its flavor. But your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight? I don't think he's going to spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. Perhaps I should ask him about something else. You knew Mr. Frost from before the contest, correct?
Huh? You remember, I see.
Hold it!
It was no coincidence that both of you entered the contest, correct?
Yes, I heard about it first, and I told Frost. I knew he'd be interested. He's always sort for cash for his sculptures.
That's right. Mr. Frost was supposedly always in financial trouble, wasn't he? The cookbook is really worth that much, huh? I see that glint in your eye, kiddo. Don't get your great sleeve and hopes up. It was worth a lot back then. These days, you can find most of the stuff there on any drugstore shelf. Oh, bummer. Well, every last contestant only ever had eyes for the cookbook, I see. An 18-year-old mystery. The key to unraveling is finally in my grasp. Just need to remember everything Fender told me about what he and my father discovered.
Hold it!
Let me check what the other ones do. I don't feel like I got anywhere. Something changed between the semifinals and the final, Mr. Gusto.
Not really.
Brother. I can think of one significant difference between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photo, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semifinal.
He was. What of it?
What indeed? Was he here with you and he was here with you until the semifinal, until suddenly he wasn't for the final. And just as suddenly as your work went from being lauded in its flavor to being lambasted for it. So the kid has the talent for the flavor, not him. That's what I'm picking up here. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted him to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best. Who knows? Maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those earlier rounds.
He talks a good game. Nothing about this guy seems super dad to me. Indeed. Thankfully, we wouldn't have to give such an idea of credence in if his story were true. After all, how much encouragement of one small boy affect taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavor of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standard after such a devastating loss. Unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on. But that wasn't all he was here to do, was it?
You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. But why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than support his father?
Hello and welcome.
Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto.
He was my biggest fan, of course. He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it. He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak.
Well, what are you implying?
You've already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
A grazer.
No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work. Man, now it all makes sense. Raw stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here.
You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But do you seriously think I'd trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then.
Did you now?
My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just more speculation. That's all it is.
Is it really speculation, though? It fits. It's really hard to brush off this coincidence that the moment the kid's gone, your skills go out the window. In that case, I asked to speak with your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate.
Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern.
What?
As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zhengfa to start my treatment. And cut off all ties with the kid for good.
But what? You abandoned your own child. And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is even now. The cops have looked all over for him. No dice.
So still you think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son?
Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof or otherwise.
Mr. Edgeworth, you have to do something. If you don't, the truth might be lost forever. Where are you, Detective Gumshoe? That's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is. Hey, Miles, I already cut in on your mind palace for time. But I was pondering something myself. Our friend Gusto here didn't come to check up on the body, did he? You mean because he tried to open the case? Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that? Wait, we might. Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence. That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now, if you...
It's Edgeworth, sir. Sorry to keep you waiting. Yes.
Speak of the devil. I take it you have the test results, Detective.
Yes, sir. Lab just got back to me, sir.
Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us evidence Mr. Edgeworth is just speaking of? What? Hey, no fair. Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this? It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out. Why is everybody always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here. Mr. Weiner. I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say? And no more whining, please. Well, alright. So, Detective Gumshoe, what did the tests have to tell us?
Not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid in the bottom of the Gemini case. It's Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack.
You bled?
What are you talking about?
Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were correct. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of the blood in this case? It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as finding your blood lying right next to the victim, Mr. Frost's body. Why would there be traces of your blood there? Of all places, Mr. Gusto? If you won't answer Her Honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just any blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too. There were. And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed. Oh yeah. You're talking about what Delacia told us back then, right? What was it again? Was it not salt but blood? Was she tasting blood? Yes, the liar. And only the liar had tasted like it had been flavored with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. Then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth. Where did the salt and the liar come from?
Take that!
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident. Indeed. And I believe that salt gave the liar its flavor. The salt that gave the liar its flavor came just from such a lump. Mr. Von Karma had established both salt lumps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost. And it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Right, because the culprit had chucked that piece of chocolate out with it onto the little stream. Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room. Hey, come to think of it, the lamps were found in Delicia's room were both broken. Never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted. Are we thinking maybe Gusteau had Gusteau's blood on it at some point? Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. So the killer needed to hide it somehow, and in any way that he would arouse suspicion.
Are you seriously suggesting that the liar was used to do just that?
I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the liar so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptors would have needed more time and care to test properly. So he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the liar undetected.
Then the reason he's here today is...
18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to the killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. How could he be sure that neither Mr. Frost's body nor the evidence would be discovered someday? So back he comes, 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try to cover his tracks. Well, Mr. Gusteau, are you finally ready to admit it? Are you the one responsible for the IS-7 incident?
Mr. Gusteau, it's all because of you, that Samson.
Gusteau.
So I finally got caught, huh? All these years later.
Yeah, and he's gonna be like,
Well, statute of limitations, ha ha ha.
and I'm just like, sorry, you left the country, so
Loser. We got him, boys. Nobody came close back then. Not even a big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you.
you admit it then, that you murdered Artie Frost.
Sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he had only himself to blame.
What do you mean by that?
He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other, so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, that rat showed his true colors. Seriously, Frost, we had a deal.
Sorry. I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto.
But I helped you. I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces.
Did you? And can you prove that, I suppose?
What do you... Wait. You were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make a piece of mine. I had to make my piece for the final by myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either.
So much for your pride you claim to have had in your ability to make delicious desserts.
Go ahead and judge. You have no idea what it's like for somebody like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything. I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand.
You're right. I don't understand. Do you take pride in the fact that you've resorted to murder? Or that you abandoned your son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things?
Man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why you think that? Why you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you, he's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
You don't care? You're horrible. So, with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yes. I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when the inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangaroa's room. Should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up.
I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook, huh?
Frost!
What's this? A cure for taste disorders. Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say?
If you tell anybody, Hal... Ugh.
You what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm.
Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been why my blood got on it.
So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt.
When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow. So I scraped off the bloody bits. I dissolved those salt shavings in some flavored ice mixture and brushed it over the hop.
And that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanished.
Frost was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition.
So you decided you had to kill him.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Why would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid self-defense case, don't you think?
Not at that point, no. Because kind of the way this is setting up is like, it was like he got attacked, Frost left, and he cleaned up the evidence of what had happened there, and then went and killed him. That is not self-defense. I'm sorry. That is not self-defense. That is not how self-defense works. So that's what imputes behind it all.
Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody pot.
Inspired by the ice sculpting tools lying about the place, I guess.
You're not as dumb as you pretend to be, huh? Figured I could use them to chip off and grind it up. Once I'd done that, painting that stuff all over it was easy.
Why Simpson? Why'd you have to frame him?
I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. That was your fault. You and the rest. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scorn's room?
There's only one reason to plant a murder weapon in the room of another contestant. And that's to cast suspicion on that person.
Why? You tried to frame me, Gutsy Pants? Yes.
But why? Why poor old me?
I respected Tangaroa. He was the best, a true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work isn't even real. You have no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did.
How could you?
And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. Then I'd sneak the corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. But thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it.
Okay, so he was killed in there, but like... I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all?
Yeah, why indeed?
Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Cousteau need to freeze his body? Screw the time of death. That one I figured out like instantly. Like I knew that one would come up at some point. It's like why was the body frozen? To obscure the time of death. Duh. Mr. Cousteau needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during the afternoon tea, he would have been obvious suspect.
Bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. I never counted on some gluttonous pharmacist to show up making a whole ship collapse.
I still don't get it though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all? The sooner it was found, the smaller the effects of freezing it would have on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, or at least until it would be fully frozen. How awful. Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truths behind this murder?
Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found. I just got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan, he wouldn't have been arrested, let alone convicted.
You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Simpson? No. Don't let him talk you into that, girl. It was all because I found the body. Don't let him get inside your head, Jutes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto.
Didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. Never even told the prosecutor the body had vanished.
So then, Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body. I mean, I guess that would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Still, you think you'd notice something as big as that if you'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. So, Mr. Von Karma didn't actually know any of it. So this detective was the one that was obfuscating all the facts. We need to figure out who this detective is and arrest his butt. Toss him in jail, too. Obstruction of justice. Get him out. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that it would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless. Can this really be true? You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you.
Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones. What a jerk. You ought to arrest you right now, pal.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, detective. Yes, you can. Girl. You've read this book, right? You've read this book. So, let's see, murder. 15 years from the date of the crime. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. What did he say he did after the competition? What was that? Oh, he went to Zhengfa? He went to another country? Bada bing, bada boom. We can arrest him. The moment we got this book, I knew that was going to be the twist. Like, he was going to be like, oh, well, we can arrest him. Statute of limitations. Like, actually... This is also what led me to know it was him, because he specifically mentioned leaving the country after everything happened.
So you noticed, huh? Glad somebody did. Why else would I be so open to admitting it? Because statute of limitations is on my side, right? The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me.
What? Why? You just confessed to murder.
No idea, huh? I guess I better lay it out for you. I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have to confess otherwise?
That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edwards? Nope. Once the statute of limitations expires, he can't be charged, so... But... How unfortunate, Mr. Edwards. I'm afraid that both Mr. Cousteau's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record. No. His confession still counts. It still counts for something, and it counts for the fact that Samson was falsely charged and falsely imprisoned. That confession means he needs to be removed from jail. Samson is free to go. We cannot strike that from the record. And that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place. No, that's not how it works. That's not how the law works. Just because statute of limitations says this guy can't be arrested doesn't mean the verdict can't be overturned. But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Cousteau, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis. Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine. The committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what.
Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor.
There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Cousteau down. Yeah, we throw the statute of limitations book at him. Be like, ha, you left the country. Screw you. Now the question is, what statement?
Hold it!
Never say never, Mr. Cousteau. Nothing is impossible.
Hold it. Really? Come, give it up. Your father couldn't catch me. What makes you think you can?
Would have solved the whole case if it hadn't been for Mr. Von Karma obstructing him at every turn. Now the statute of limitations is threatening to enter the truth for this case forever. But listen to him, Mr. Edgeworth. You can't give up, not now. I'm doing this for your dad, so you have to see it through to the end. Okay. The truth is right there for the taking. What kind of great thieves are we if we don't grab it for ourselves? I'm not a great thief, Kay, but you're right. Camillo Gusto, I won't allow you to make off with the truth.
Do your worst.
Hold it!
Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, there it is. That's the line I need. That's the line I need right there. That's what I'm looking for. Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute may not have expired yet.
This ought to be good. All right, I got nothing to hide. There's something. If there's something you want to ask, we'll ask it.
Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you were doing since the incident.
Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from that book. Not long after that, I went to Zengfa, really buckled down and honed my craft.
That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh?
Could be. I left, I see. Let's see. Around a year after the murder. That was before Tengaroa's last day in court. Going to Zengfa was the best thing I did. Flavor, design, I'm the full package now.
Objection!
And all that on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed.
What an omelet without a few eggs, hmm? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing.
You evil.
Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me. That's all that matters.
I need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Yes. Yes, Edwards. I'd like to tell you to tell us more about your training in Zengfa, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine.
Objection!
Got him!
The statute of limitations for the murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, which means that the time you spent abroad doesn't count to the total time under the statute. No way. So it's like someone hit pause while he was in thought.
It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. But it will depend on how long you stayed in Zengfa, Mr. Gusto.
It was
3 years exactly.
3 years. Hold on. Nobody said anything until I've done my math. Murder thing happened 18 years back. The statute's 15 years. Add 3 overseas. 15 plus 3 makes exactly 18. Which means, no way! Mr. Edwards, you did it! The statute hasn't expired yet after all.
Bingo! 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourself.
Just been stringing this along this whole time. Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now. I hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went out at the end of April. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. Gusto's in Zengfa really lasted 3 years on the nose. It's not enough. We're a few months short. But we need to verify it though.
What did I tell you? You cannot touch me.
I hate to admit it, but he read the board well when he made his confession. How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statute had been suspended for another year. Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed. There must be something I can do. I knew it. If the law can't bring Mr. Cousteau to justice, then... Dudes, what are you thinking?
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your rap sheet just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. There's still a way we can nail him. There is? Alright, Mazzarino. Pep talk. I need you to think back over everything we know about the case. Let's overlook one critical thing about yourself that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is... He wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? I can tell. Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means there's still one more way left to us. Crack open your Statute for Dummies and take another look. What was the other line? Oh yeah, the accomplice. Because he's listed as an accomplice, it opens up the statute. The statute is suspended. 17 years ago, they did a real number on Samson and framed him like a petty picture. If we make good use of the verdict now, we can make Cousteau pay in full for what he's done. Fender, are you? Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles, and I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So why don't we play our last card, or not? It's going to have to be up to you. His verdict. Ha-ha! Bringing Mr. Cousteau to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of the hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play that card or not? Obviously, raise an objection. My father and Mr. Von Karma. One sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I chose to follow, the one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Cousteau has been found not guilty on all counts.
Objection!
Nope. No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Cousteau is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished. Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest? I do. Now to show Judge Gavelle something that proves that the statute of limitations hasn't expired.
Take that!
Very well. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 case you wish? Which case? Which page was it? Suspect data. I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tangaroga was convicted as an accomplice. And it took around 1 year for his indictment for that verdict to be reached. Yes, it does seem to be the case. The book you gave us details conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is the statute is suspended if the suspect flees from the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment at the end of the trial.
What? Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice.
Yep. Yes, you were in Zhang Fa when the verdict came down. Nansen was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you. And not good news either, am I right?
How can that be? Tangaroa wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent. And you know it,
Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove this all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, the wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Zhangfa, and your accomplice Samson Tangaroa was on trial for 1 year, it means you could still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after that fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all.
Yeah!
The goddess of judgment is infallible, but that of her servants, it appears it's not. It serves that the prosecutor in charge of this case may have been erred. Unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No, how could this?
Objection!
We weren't supposed to be.
18 years that's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto. Not a moment too soon.
But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I give up everything for this. Everything. Even my son.
More's the pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last.
Mr. Gusto's all set up for his trip downtown, sir.
Oh, good. Which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so. Dudes. I'm so sorry, everyone. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thanks to you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last. I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. Those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return on behalf of the prosecution. Oh no, I have no one to blame but myself for it all. Starting with those sculptures. Hey dudes, I think you might want me to represent you. I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. There's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Sorry, ma'am. You gotta come with me now.
Of course. Judge Gaville, why did you lie to us? Lie? What are you talking about? You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found. I am under no obligation to answer such questions, and you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Seriously, what is the committee up to? What is going on behind the scenes with this woman? Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee of Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back to the on your continued transgressions. No doubt you'll be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way. What the heck? And after you caught the real killer and everything. Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do? Regardless of how it plays out, I will never regret what we've accomplished here today. Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes. Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job. My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person. I don't get it. I wouldn't expect you to understand, not as long as you believe that closing the case makes you a winner. That's going way over my head. I'm going home. Bro. Please tell me by the end of the game this kid grows up out of this winner stuff. Please, game, just give me that at the. If he doesn't, like, I'm still so confused at this point why he's a popular character. Like, I've heard so many people talk him up. It's like, what? Like, I don't get it. What was that all about? Eustace still has a lot to learn at all. Is all. Milesy Wisely. Yes. I just wanted to say, old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, looking at you makes me tear up. That, and thank you for helping Sammy people. Of course. Hey, Getchy. Looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you? Though I am loath to admit it, Larry's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that. Quit the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you. Yeah, you totally were. You're as like your pops. He was a terrible liar, too. He was. Listen, I'm gonna head out. You know, Phil Sampson on what went down today. You want to come with? Yes, of course. Great. Then I'm coming too. So what's Mr. Tangaroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him. He's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. While locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. It's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike. Really? That sounds awesome. You think he'll have any left for us to try? Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been from some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods? Gummy, what are you doing here?
Are you all coming to see Mr. Tangaroa? So I volunteered to assist you.
Hello, friends. Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa. Prosecutor Miles Edwards, at your service.
And I'm Mr. Edwards' trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday.
Very nice to meet you both. Miles here is Gregory's son. Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and... Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fender has explained everything to me. Sure did. Now we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago. The truth? Judy did all that for me? Worried the kid racked her brain for 18 years until she finally figured out how to set you free. What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you. Oh, Judy, I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you has held strong for all these years. You think so? Guess I better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond between Mr. Tangaroa and Mr. Bond? That would be the candies, I believe.
Take that!
Those chocolates. Judy made them, didn't she? Yes, she did. They're super delicious and sweet. Miss Bound continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. There would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy. I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so. I'm afraid. Very much so, I'm afraid. I only wish that I could hand them to you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later.
Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority to stop him anyway. Thank you so very much. Something about you reminds me of Detective Bad.
Really, pal? I look up to him a lot. He's my role model. You know he's in jail now.
You don't say. I feel fate likes to bring people of all sorts together.
You hang in there, Samson. That's a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice.
Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather, thank you. Truly.
Samson.
Well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. Better make sure there's something else delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie.
Leave it to me, big guy.
The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we inherited from my father is finally coming to a close.
Hey, Miles. Thank you for today. And sorry for forcing you to make all the final call like that.
Not at all. I simply made the call I felt was right to me.
Huh? What are you guys talking about? No, Samson was wrongly convicted. We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah, I can see that. Now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get the wrongful conviction overturned.
Yes, and I'm sure you will.
Wait a minute. Does that mean even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free?
Yep.
This is what we folks call a trade, like a legal contradiction. Well, it's far from perfect. Because of things like legal contradictions, right? Yeah, you never know. Things might change. Law is always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Miles Reno included. Am I right?
The potential for growth and change in people and in law.
Oh, Miles. You gotta keep fighting crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney. Something tells me you've got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer.
I know.
Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time. I always repay my debts. But for now, thanks again for today. I mean it.
Did he seem in kind of a hurry to get out of here too? Do you? He did. He's probably crying in the hallway now. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my father's final case. When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. Oh, we're not done. Hey, Gregory. Alright for reporting in so late. May have taken 18 years. We're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy, Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. Should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It was like I was watching you.
Miles made the same face. It's like, yeah.
He was like, Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were. Those guiding principles you tried to instill in me. I'd like to think I embody them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping.
Yes!
Your boy will be joining me in that soon. Am I going to fight crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney? What is the right answer? Which path shall I choose?